Captain Fanuel stood on the prow of the ship, resting one foot upon the bowsprit of the Emperor's Ire. The Ashkenazi vessel cut through the waves as the Space Marine stood defiantly amidst the hail of venomous arrows, deflecting harmlessly off his armor. The entire Phrygian fleet lay before him, nipping at the heels of the other Ashkenazi vessels, hurling volleys of their hideous black arrows as the Ashkenazi replied with their own volleys of hot lead. But it was time to begin the battle in earnest, as the Emperor's ire pointed itself at the nearest Phrygian broadside. The Phrygian vessel had nowhere to go. Forward was the Ashkenazi fleet. To port were the rest of the Phrygians. To starboard was the Ashkenazi flagship, the Emperor's Ire.
"Ram the heretics! Ram them!"
As the ships closed in on each other, the Ashkenazi musketeers fired again and again, with the deck gunners adding clouds of shot to the fray. A few men were felled by the wicked arrows, but it was difficult to properly use volley fire as the sails of the Imperial vessel blocked many of the venomous shafts. They were mere feet from impact when Captain Fanuel ran along the bowsprit, which bent under the weight of the tremendous Space Marine. Before he leapt into the fray, his chainsword roaring for blood. He timed the leap perfectly. The two ships collided, staggering many of the men on the decks of both ships. And then Captain Fanuel landed amongst them. It was like watching a lion among wild dogs, slicing through them effortlessly. The entire crew seemed in a daze, both from the collision and the impossibility of what was before them. Captain Fanuel moved faster than the human mind could believe possible for a being of that size. Had Abaya not seen him fight Phrygian raiders before, he might have been awestruck as well.
"Keep firing! We cannot hurt the golem, but we may spill the blood of many heretics. Fire at will!"
The Ashkenazi quickly recovered and renewed their disciplined rate of fire. Abaya himself began scanning the enemy ship for the captain. It was difficult to find a good target. Smoke obscured his vision, and for all he could tell, Captain Fanuel had already felled the enemy commander as he swung his weapon in huge, sweeping arcs, shattering swords and bones and spraying blood and viscera upon the deck. Suddenly, a group of men emerged from below decks, armed with cruel black blades. The Phrygian raiders already had an eerie inhumanity to their appearance, but these men even more so. They seemed unnaturally tall, and their limbs were lithe and long, with their hands hanging about their knees. Their fluid, effortless movements were entrancing as they started towards Fanuel. The Space Marine did not hesitate, and met their grace with brute force. He caught the arm of the first guard as the creature lunged at him, and followed through with a swing that bisected the heretic across the midsection. The Space Marine then wheeled on the largest of the gangly creatures, and brought his chainsword to bear once more. But it did not shatter against the black steel weapons. The lead creature managed to parry the blow and step aside, as his guard stabbed at Fanuel, who caught the blade in his left arm. And to Abaya's surprise, it stabbed through the ceramite plating and into the Space Marine's augmetic arm, causing sparks to shoot from the wound. This shocked Abaya out of his reverie as he took careful aim and fired his rifle. The bullet struck the heretic guard in the head. As his grip went slack on the blade, he tumbled to the deck floor. The lead creature sought to capitalize on Fanuel's apparent injury and lunged at him, but the Space Marine hurled the body of his deceased comrade into the enemy commander. The millisecond it took for the Phrygian to untangle himself from the guard, Fanuel's blade was already upon him, and with another roar of the chainsword, the vile heretic's head fell to the deck. The Space Marine only took a moment to test his injured arm. It seemed to be working, though its gears and pistons were grinding and struggling to make precise movements. But, without so much as another second of hesitation, Fanuel was already preparing himself to leap onto the next ship. Abaya took command of the situation.
Follow him! We'll go ship to ship, kill anything that's left. Follow the golem! Follow the Emperor's champion!
As Fanuel rampaged across each of the Phrygian vessels, the Ashkenazi and the Temerine struggled to catch up with him, clearing out the lower decks of any stragglers in his wake. This battle was quickly turning into a slaughter, as the water of the harbor turned red with the blood of the heretics. Many creatures of the sea feasted upon the dead. So far, things were going well for the Ashkenazi and their Temerine allies, but there was still so much more to do. They still needed to take the harbor, fight their way through the city, and assault the spire of Gordium. And then, Demon would fight Angel, as Fanuel would face his corrupted rival. Abaya brought his mind back to the matter at hand, and dutifully loaded another round into his rifle. There was still so much more left to do, with possibly the very soul of the planet in the balance. No-men do they call me, my mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all for watching the latest episode of the Heart of Iron series. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a like and a comment so that you too can reject the temptations of Slaanesh in this auspicious month of November. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so in order to hear more stories about vicious decapitations and demon blades. If you would like to support me, you can check out my Patreon. I also have a Teespring store, or my PayPal. All of those will be linked below. And if you have absolutely no idea what's going on, you can click on the Heart of Iron playlist, which should be appearing on screen right now. Thank you all very much for listening once again. I very much appreciate all the love and support I have gotten from all of my viewers and subscribers. Anyway, No Man out.